So everyone, a little bit about myself and my journey through Toastmasters. And please don't take it in the way that I'm trying to project myself or my achievements or using the word my a lot. It all has a reason, and it all is directly linked to what I'm about to share with you. I joined Toastmasters in June 2016, and it took me 7 months to deliver my icebreaker. So I delivered my icebreaker in January 2017. In June of 2017, I was asked to be the VP Public Relations of Karachi Toastmasters Club. And at that time, I was just concerned about my projects, my CC manual. I had absolutely no idea about how a club was managed. I was just looking at my seniors and seeing the things that they were doing. Please also remember that at that point in time, and Toastmaster Ursa, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we didn't use WhatsApp that much, or even if we did, it was done, I don't know, like we didn't use this real-time platform, any kind of real-time platform. So personal calls were made and emails were used to enlist role players. And I believe, yeah, very, like it was not the thing. Now, I think majority of the clubs worldwide virtually run on WhatsApp, and it's difficult to imagine life without it. So then when I became VP Public Relations, about a month or two in, our VP Education had to resign. And in the process, she created a monster. She is Toastmaster Rahma Unib, a person I respect and admire a great deal. She's a beacon of light for all of us. And she resigned from VP Education, and for some strange reason, she presented my name as a replacement. So the club elected me. And after that, the next logical step was that I was elected the president of Karachi Toastmasters Club in July, in June 2018. And that was the start of my first term as the president. And then, of course, I completed the term as president, and then I became the immediate past president, and then I became once again the VP Education, and then the president again. What was the club doing during this time? When I started, the club had about 25, 26 members, and its meetings were regularly held, and they regularly used to have 2 or 3 projects. In the first year, we escalated that to 4 projects, to considerable resistance and anger from many of the members, because of course that meant an increase in meeting duration. None of us had an idea what was coming, because between myself, Toastmaster Rusa here, and Toastmaster Imran, we were a group that switched places between president, VP Education, and immediate past president. Yet we stayed at the core of the club management for 3 or 4 years, and that continues to this day. What did it do for us? We actually kept trying to find new ways to innovate. So as we all know, that for a good, strong community club, like many that we have in Pakistan and around the world, reaching to distinguished is just the first step. It's easy enough. Many clubs do it within the first 6 months, right? Distinguished or select distinguished and present distinguished. So what was it that could be done above and beyond that? That's what we kept asking ourselves. And we at first decided that the number of members had to be one criteria where we could really make our mark, not only in Pakistan, but in the region and in the world. So we reached and we applied an effort towards club quality and membership efforts. And we went all the way in my first tenure from 26 members to 81 members in a course of a year. And that was the highest number of members that we've ever had. and we were number 1 in region 11 at that time. But then as we grew, we also realized that there was more to it. It was not just enough to have so many names on the roster. Rather, all those names needed to be active in delivering projects. And then we learned that there were many clubs who had 20, 25 members, but all of them were active members, and that is why they were scoring very high in terms of education awards. And that's when it struck us. Education awards is the main criteria of a Toastmasters club. Education awards is what moves the needle on the distinguished club program. Education awards is also a valid point of comparison, because the more education awards a club has, the more involved its members are, and that means that it's doing a lot of things right other than regular activities. And that's why the members are involved and engaged, and they feel privileged. So we moved to 5 speeches, then 6 speeches, then 7 speeches, and finally 8 speeches. And during this year, thanks to our creative VP education, without anyone realizing it, we've also had 9 or 10 speeches in a regular meeting. And all those were completed within our usual time of 2.5 to 3 hours. So once you reach to that level, you start to realize that we all must be doing something right. And of course, we are also doing a lot of mistakes, but you have to balance those. We all make mistakes. Mistakes come from experimentation and trying new things. If we just stick to the manuals that are provided to us, of course, there's no chance of a mistake, but there's no chance of reaching above and beyond. So when we reached in the top 5 of the world for the first time last year, we had our 20th anniversary meeting, and we invited DTM Margaret Page, the international president, and she was the international president-elect at that time. And she was kind enough to grace our meeting and to endure the whole 3-hour affair. And it was such an inspirational moment in all of our lives, because guess what? When she shared her feedback about the meeting, there was not one word of improvement areas. And that was not because they did not exist. It was because she chose not to emphasize them. Instead, she urged us on, and she said that you are a game-changing club and you should continue to change the game. And that is something that stuck with me. We should continue to change the game. In a friendly competition with other clubs, when they reach, when we share our learnings with other clubs, and of course, use the learnings from other clubs as well, and we all get to the same level, it's time to change the game again. Because if you keep changing the game, no one can beat you. That's how we got to number 1 last year. And even right now, as we speak, we are in the 4th position worldwide. I know this position may change. It may go up, hopefully, or it may go down. There are clubs in this world who log in 50 plus awards on the last day of the year. And we don't want to be like that, because we are all about education. And that's what my main thought process is, that Toastmasters Club is all about education first, and everything else comes second. So how can we, in all terms, and as when I was going for district director, it was my stated goals that we should have at least 10 of our clubs in the top 50 worldwide. And right now we have 3 of our clubs in the top 20. So yeah, we are a little way away from that lofty goal, but there's no harm in having lofty goals and not meeting them, rather than having pedestrian goals and exceeding them. So think about it. So today what I'm about to unveil is something that is a culmination of whatever I have learned about club management. And it is supposed to be a guide. And you've seen a lot of guides. There's no shortage of guides. There's a club leadership handbook, right? There's the Toastmasters Wears Many Hat booklet. And there's a lot of sources available on Toastmasters website. So today what I'm about to unveil, in fact, is not a life hack. That was something that was just said to attract some audience. Because when you want to reach the sky, there's no shortcut. There are no tricks, only tips. There are no shortcuts, only hard work. And today what I'm about to unveil is a study in how to do that hard work and how to do it in an efficient way. Because there's no kidding around. If you want to get into the top 20 worldwide, or for that matter, if you want to get your club, again, being in the top 20 worldwide is not something that is necessarily something that all clubs should aspire to. You can aspire to be the #1 club in your area, in your division, in your district. Why not? And then build your way up from there. The important question is why you're doing it. Is it especially pleasurable to see our name on that top 10 list? Of course it is. But how many people see that? How many people even know about that? It doesn't exist on the official Toastmasters website. It exists on data mining websites that mine the data from Toastmasters. It is a super nerdy, geeky thing that only a few people are interested in. A normal Toastmaster can feel a bit of pride when they learn that they're part of a top 10 or top 5 club, of course. But they're not interested in the mechanics of it, or they're not interested, and they should not be interested what other clubs are there. So that's not the point of it. The fact that we are in top 5 of the world means that we are in the top 5 with respect to serving our members. And how do we serve our members? By giving them the space to deliver projects and by ensuring their growth. That is all it comes down to, and it's very unglamorous. Our members' growth in terms of their speaking ability, in terms of their confidence, in terms of how they interact with each other as human beings, that is paramount. And if we put up some big numbers on the board, that is a measure of how many lives we have impacted during the year. And that is something we should all take pride in. So this is that thing that I'm about to unveil. Can you see the slide, everyone? All right. So this is actually a document that I have developed. And it is an all-in-one manual for club management. I've already shown it to our international president, and she has placed quite a bit of praise on it. In fact, the purpose was not to get praise. The purpose was just to check if she had any objections to it. So apparently there are none. This is a PDF document of around 50 plus pages, and it has everything that you need to manage a club, or at least close to it. So just a second. Now, why was this needed? We are actually in the process of chartering a corporate club, and they asked me for some reference materials. And when I started on the way to providing them with those, I realized that all I'll be doing is burying them under a pile of documents. So a different document for club leadership, a different document for pathways, a different document for meeting roles, a different document for leadership and elections and everything, a different document for contests. So I thought, why not make a presentation and just provide them with the links to all those documents in one place? And from there, this idea grew into this. So if you see, this is the table of contents, and it has all possible, or at least to my estimation, all possible aspects of club management The beauty of it is that it starts with an introduction, of course, and then it provides this link to all the manuals that were used in the preparation of this booklet. The preparation of this booklet draws primarily from the Toastmasters materials. I've made that very clear. The main source is Toastmasters materials, and every time those materials have been used, they have been referenced. Only where I have put in some tidbits from my experience, only then I have also clearly stated that this is my own experience or my own suggestion. So yes, thank you for that, Toastmaster Saad. We are about to get done because brevity is the whole point of this. So all these links are clickable. Formation of a club. And if you want to go back, you just have to click on the compass icon on the bottom left, and it will take you back to the table of contents. Formation and initial setup, club meetings, a member's journey, speech contests, and club management. So just to demonstrate, I'll just showcase one section of this document, formation and initial setup. Why and how should you form a club? All the steps are given here, and also a cross-reference to how to build a Toastmasters club, which is the Toastmasters manual from which this material was taken. Setting up a club, this is my own personal suggested steps. And again, they're taken from the manual, but they have some wrinkles of their own. Then why go for club leadership? Because while setting up a club, you need club leadership, and you need to provide members good reason to become a leader. How to ensure succession of club leadership, that is also given right at the start, because everyone should be very clear about the fact that these are temporary terms and they will need to vacate it in favor of new people at the end of the year. Then, of course, this is a version of a guide I earlier developed, a brief cheat sheet for all the roles of a club. And of course, then there's the troubleshooting guide for club leaders. And I believe this is one of the most value-added portions, because the statements that are here, low meeting attendance, lack of new member renewals, members' educational progress is slow, inactive EXO members, new members not properly guided, loss of interest by some members, conflicts within ESCOM, members struggling with speech ideas. All of these are problems faced by every club, no matter how well performing they are. I'm so glad I extended the time to 20 minutes. So then we go to club meetings, and this is also one of the major sections. This is the explanation of all the roles. And of course, this has been cross-referenced to a Toastmasters wears many hats. Then there's a graphical representation of what a meeting's flow looks like. And it should be easy to understand, because on the left, there's a step-by-step sequence, and on the right, the graphs represent who does what role. And then, of course, there's this overall macro representation of what is the flow of a Toastmasters meeting. Many of you may have seen this document earlier, because what I've essentially done is file all those things I've developed earlier into this one. Then there's an explanation of the meeting agenda about each and every portion. And of course, how to set up a hybrid meeting. That is a question that I've been facing a lot. An in-person meeting is easy enough to arrange. An online-only meeting like this one is easy enough to arrange, but a hybrid meeting is a different ballgame. And for all I know, this is the future of Toastmasters. So we should all get up to speed on how to arrange hybrid meetings. Then what items are needed for a meeting, for an in-person meeting, for an online meeting, or for a hybrid meeting? Then how do we regulate a member's journey? This is another section. When they join, what to do, how to arrange mentor for them, what should be their career path based on various levels. Again, we have all sorts of members with different capabilities and different goals. And the first step is to need to have a conversation with them about what they intend to achieve. And then accordingly, we can set up a career path for the first few meetings for them. Selecting a pathway, accessing a pathway. I could not provide a direct link to these things because they are behind a login page. So again, there's just a guidance here. And of course, these are all the steps of delivering a project. And yes, there are that many steps. They look intimidating, but if one does all these steps, then of course they will excel. Not only in terms of level completion, but also in terms of the quality of speeches they're able to deliver. There's a career path to DTM. Then, right, about to finish speech contests, flow of a contest, what roles are needed, what needs to be done on contest day, what needs to be done before the contest, what needs to be done after the contest. And then, of course, this condensation of what is to be expected in a contest. And then the club management, the distinguished club program, how to, and this is the part where we reach above and beyond, how to make our club stand out, enhance club experience. So what are the principles behind it? The extra effort that we need to make in order to ensure meeting quality, how to change things up, how to enable education excellence, what the VPE needs to do every week, how membership can be retained, what are the public relations strategies, what a VP PR needs to do every week, how to maintain a connection with the guests and people who are interested, and some other areas. And finally, it ends upon the club calendar. So now the presentation is over, and this is actually a PDF that we will be sharing through the program quality team very soon.